Madam Secretary, the Territory of Puerto Rico, having voted to become the 51st state of the greatest nation on the face of the earth, following the results of a binding presidential preference vote, the rule of the state, the law of the state, and the rule of the party proudly cast its 23 votes for Senator Marco Rubio.
Pursuant to the announcement of the delegation and the rules of this convention, Puerto Rico, 23 votes, Rubio.
Rhode Island, 19 delegates with the following down delegates: 12 Trump, 2 Cruz, 5 Kasich.
Madam Secretary, Brandon Bell, State Chairman of the State Rhode Island Republican Party, as well as the delegation chair of this incredible Rhode Island delegation, which includes my colleague, Leanne Sennett, our National Committee woman, and my colleague, Rhode Island National Committeeman, Steve Frias, who will be the next state representative from District 15 in Cranston after he beats the Speaker of the House of the state of Rhode Island, who's a Democrat. Roger Williams founded the colony of Rhode Island in 1631 based upon principles of complete religious toleration, separation of church and state, and political democracy, values that the United States would after be founded upon. We are the ocean state, and it's absolutely beautiful back home. Unfortunately, government is not working in Rhode Island for the people, as the state is run by a corrupt Democrat political machine for the last 80 years. In our state, we are constantly ranked near the bottom, recently ranked 50th worst in terms of our business-friendly climate. Democratic leadership in our state has been rampant with corruption, lack of transparency, and unethical conduct, which makes it no surprise that the Democratic presidential nominee is supported by each and every one of Rhode Island State Democratic leadership. It should therefore come as no surprise that Rhode Island delivered, the largest margin of victory in a three-way race, with the most amount of votes cast in the history of the Republican primary, with over 64% for Donald J. Trump. Therefore, Madam Secretary, please cast from a proud and unified Rhode Island Republican Party 2 votes for Senator Ted Cruz, 5 votes for Governor John Kasich, and 12 votes for the next President of the United States, Donald J. Trump.
Pursuant to the announcement of the delegation and the rules of this convention, Rhode Island, 12 votes Trump, 2 votes Cruz, 5 votes Kasich.
South Carolina, 50 delegates with the following down delegates: 50 Trump.
Madam Secretary, I am Matt Moore, Chairman of South Carolina, the Palmetto State that always shows amazing grace, home of the first of the South primary, the true peach state and the birthplace of barbecue, home of the reigning U.S. Open golf champion Justin Johnson and the reigning NCAA baseball champion, Coastal Carolina Chanticleers. Home of the #1 city in the world, according to Travel and Leisure magazine, Charleston, South Carolina. And America's vacation destination, Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. The Southeast manufacturing leader with companies including Boeing and BMW. We are South Carolina. South Carolina cast all 50 delegates for Donald J. Trump.
Pursuant to the announcement of the delegation and the rules of this convention, South Carolina, 50 votes Trump.
South Dakota, 29 delegates with the following bound delegates: 29 Trump.
Madam Secretary, the great state of South Dakota, home of Crazy Horse, Mount Rushmore, and other great faces and great places, proudly nominates and casts our 29 votes for Donald J. Trump.
Pursuant to the announcement of the delegation and the rules of this convention, South Dakota, 29 votes, Trump.
Tennessee, 58 delegates with the following down delegates: 33 Trump, 16 Cruz, 9 Rubio.
Madam Secretary, the volunteer state, the state with no state income tax, a budget surplus, and a balanced budget, a state that is in the top 5 in jobs growth, number 1 in auto manufacturing, with a Republican governor, 2 Republican U.S. senators, 7 Republican congressmen, and a 2/3 majority in the state House and state Senate. Our pro-life state proudly cast our votes: 16 votes for Senator Ted Cruz, 19 votes for Senator Marco Rubio, and 33 votes to make America great again for Donald J. Trump. Madam Secretary, 16 votes for Senator Ted Cruz, 9 votes for Senator Marco Rubio, and 33 votes for Donald J. Trump.
Pursuant to the announcement of the delegation and the rules of this convention, Tennessee, 33 votes Trump, 16 votes Cruz, 9 votes Rubio.
Texas, 155 delegates with the following down delegates: 48 Trump, 104 Cruz, 3 Rubio.
Madam Secretary, Mr. Chairman, on behalf of my friend and our great Governor, Greg Abbott, who could not be here tonight, on behalf of our great Chairman, Tom Eckler, my name is Dan Patrick, and as Lieutenant Governor of the greatest job-creating state in the country, of the 12th largest economy on the planet, of a state, and we're really proud of this, where no Democrat has won statewide office since 1992. And where every Texan has the back of our law enforcement officers. I am proud to report our vote for Marco Rubio, 3 votes. For our dear friend, a great conservative, our favorite son whom we love, Ted Cruz, 104 votes. And for our new friend, our latest adopted favorite son, for the man who on the night of the United States, Donald Trump, 48 votes!
Pursuant to the announcement of the delegation and the rules of this convention, Texas, 48 votes Trump, 104 votes Cruz, 3 votes Rubio.
U.S. Virgin Islands, 9 delegates.
Mr. Chairman, my name is John Canigata, and on behalf of the United States Virgin Islands, one of the 5 U.S. territories where loyal, patriotic Americans are second-class citizens and are denied basic rights, it is a high privilege and distinct honor to announce that the childhood homer, Alexander Hamilton, the greatest basketball player, Tim Duncan, where slaves were emancipated first in the New World, where no passport is required to visit the beautiful Caribbean islands of St. Croix, St. John's, and St. Thomas. We proudly cast 8 votes for the next president, the gentleman from New York, Donald J. Trump. With God's blessings and conservative leadership, let's make America and the Caribbean great again.
Pursuant to the announcement of the delegation and the rules of this convention, U.S. Virgin Islands, 8 votes Trump, 1 abstention.
Utah, 40 delegates with the following down delegates. 40, Trump.
Madam Secretary, my name is Phil Wright. I'm the delegation chair for the great state of Utah, the state that has its priorities straight: God, family, and country. Before I give our votes, I want to introduce the chair of the Utah Republican Party, James Evans.
Madam Secretary, Utah is the #1 state for economic growth, job creation, the most reliable Republican state, and please accept this message and give to the next President of the United States, Donald J. Trump, that in November, Donald J. Trump will get the highest percentage vote from the state of Utah. We are always Republican, now, today, and forever.
Madam Secretary, according to the votes of the great citizens of the state of Utah, we cast all 40 of our delegates to the gentleman who won our state, Senator Ted Cruz.
Pursuant to the announcement of the delegation and the rules of this convention, Utah, 40 votes Trump.
Vermont, 16 delegates with the following down delegates. 8, Trump.
Thank you, Madam Secretary. We are proud of Vermont to claim you as one of our own. From the great state of Vermont, home of Calvin Coolidge, the 30th President of the United States, was nominated in Cleveland in 1924 with his running mate from Ohio, Charles Dawes from Marietta, Ohio. One of Calvin Coolidge's many quotes: "Don't expect to build up the weak by pulling down the strong." Vermont votes: 1 vote for John Kasich, 2 votes for Rand Paul, and 13 votes for Donald J. Trump.
Pursuant to the announcement of the delegation and the rules of this convention, Vermont, 13 votes Trump, 1 vote Kasich, 2 votes Hall.
Virginia, 49 delegates with the following bound delegates: 17 Trump, 8 Cruz, 16 Rubio, 5 Kasich, 3 Carson.
Namaste, Mr. Chairman. The Commonwealth of Virginia is the mother of presidents and the cradle of freedom. Virginia, where liberty sprouted from the roots of Jamestown, and where patriots' dreams came true. Virginia, where a fledgling old dominion grown into a digital dominion. Virginia is truly a commonwealth of opportunity. I, Subba Kolla, first Indian American national delegate from Virginia. And I am proud to report that, pursuant to the Republican primary in Virginia history of our delegation, cast the following bound votes. 3 votes for Dr. Ben Carson, 5 votes for Governor John Kasich, 8 votes for Senator Ted Cruz, 16 votes for Senator Marco Rubio, 17 votes for our next President of the United States of America, Mr. Donald J. Trump.
Pursuant to the announcement of the delegation and the rules of this convention, Virginia, 17 votes Trump, 8 votes Cruz, 16 votes Rubio, 5 votes Kasich, and 3 votes Carson.
Washington, 44 delegates with the following bound delegates: 44 Trump. What's going on? We're in tree.
Madam Secretary, from the great state of Washington, the evergreen state, we are standing tall. Our beautiful state of volcanoes, the mighty Columbia River, vast wheat fields, and yes, often the national Christmas tree. Also, the proud home of the Boeing Airplane Company, celebrating its 100th anniversary this month. Builders of the greatest jets in the world. We are named after the first President of the United States, and we are proud now to nominate for the 45th President of the United States, 44 votes for Donald J. Trump.
Pursuant to the announcement of the delegation and the rules of this convention, Washington, 44 votes Trump.
West Virginia, 34 delegates.
Madam Secretary, I proudly hold up a coal miner's hat from an industry that's been pillaged by this administration. It has been devastating what's happened in Appalachia and all across this country. As the son and grandson of coal miners, as a proud son of West Virginia, my state's paid a hefty price under this administration. Tens of thousands of coal miners across this country have lost their jobs over the past 7.5 years. It's time we change course with a man named Donald J. Trump. This campaign is personal to us. Donald J. Trump is truly an instrument of hope for so many people across this great country who have lost hope. It's my honor
to introduce another grandson of coal miners, another favorite son of my great state, my good friend, John Racy, for the talent.
Let's get ready to rumble here. We're going to take on some people. I want to tell you that we are the first state in the United States in this auditorium to recognize Melania Trump as the next First Lady of the United States. A lot better than Bill Clinton, that other spouse, I can tell you that. We are the home, West Virginia, of the greatest golfer in the history of golf, Mr. Sam Snead. The greatest pro football player in the history of the NFL, Mr. Sam Huff. And we are also the home of the mighty Mountaineers and the Thundering Herd. Walk proud, West Virginia, because we are a state that is going to put 34 delegates behind Mr. Donald Trump. Clean slate. Let's go get him.
Pursuant to the announcement of the delegation and the rules of this convention, West Virginia, 34 votes Trump.
Wisconsin, 42 delegates for the following bound delegates. 6 Trump, 36 Cruz.
Madam Secretary, my name is Grant Courtney, Chairman of the Republican Party of Wisconsin. The great state of Wisconsin, home to RNC Chairman Reince Priebus, and U.S. Speaker of the House, Paul Ryan. I would now like to introduce to you the only governor in U.S. history to win a recall election, America's Governor, Scott Walker!
The birthplace of the Republican Party, the home of the 13-time world champion Green Bay Packers, and the home of the greatest motorcycles in the world, Harley Davidson. Pursuant to our rules, cast 36 votes for Ted Cruz and 6 votes for the next President of the United States, Donald J. Trump.
Pursuant to the announcement of the delegation and the rules of this convention, 6 votes Trump, 36 votes Cruz.
Wyoming, 29 delegates for the following bound delegates. 1 Trump, 23 Cruz, 1 Rubio.
Madam Secretary, Mr. Chairman, from the great state of Wyoming, home of Reagan conservatives, rugged individualism, the majestic Tetons and Cheyenne Frontier Natives, a leading producer of low sulfur coal, we are an energy titan. A super red state, a Republican governor, all 5 statewide electeds Republicans, a Republican majority in our state legislature, and a Republican governor and a Republican congressional delegation. We have a balanced budget, we have a $1.6 billion surplus, and we have no corporate and no individual income tax. We support states' rights, religious liberty, the Second Amendment, and law enforcement officers across this great nation. Wyoming proudly casts its votes as follows. 1 vote for Senator Marco Rubio. 2 votes for Governor John Kasich. And for an individual who we came to know and love as one of our own, 23 votes from the great senator from the state of Texas, Ted Cruz. And now, for someone we've come to know and have come to support, and will throw our support behind against Hillary Clinton, the next President of the United States. 3 votes for Mr. Donald Trump.
Pursuant to the announcement of the delegation and the rules of this convention, Wyoming, 3 votes Trump, 23 votes Cruz, 1 vote Rubio, and 2 votes Kasich.
Michigan, 59 delegates with the following bound delegates. 25 Trump.
Secretary, my name is Ronna Romney McDaniel, Chairman of the Michigan Republican Party. Michigan is America's comeback state, the Great Lakes state, and birthplace of the Republican Party. We are so committed to turning our state red and winning the presidency that we were willing to wear Ohio State colors. Just for today. We are the home of President Gerald R. Ford, the home of the late and extremely great Mr. Hockey Gordie Howe. From Mackinac to Motown, from the UP to the Big Three, we proudly cast 2 votes for John Kasich, 6 votes for Ted Cruz, and 51 votes for the next President of the United States, Donald J. Trump.
Pennsylvania, 71 delegates with the following bound delegates.
Congressman, the state that will deliver the deciding 20 electoral votes on November 8th cast 1 vote for Ted Cruz and 70 for the next President of the United States, Donald J. Trump.
Pursuant to the announcement of the delegation and the rules of this convention, Pennsylvania, 70 votes Trump, 1 vote Cruz.
Ladies and gentlemen, Speaker Paul Ryan.
Does any state wish to cast its vote or to change its vote? Gentlemen, shall take place in this microphone.
Mr. Chair.
Yeah, what purpose does the gentleman seek recognition?
To contest the vote that Alaska cast as it was recorded by the Secretary. It was misrecorded by the Secretary. We cast 12 votes for Senator Ted Cruz, 11 votes for Donald Trump, and 5 votes for Marco Rubio. That was pursuant to the state of Alaska rules for our party. 100% of our delegation agrees with that as the proper vote. We were never notified of anything different by the RNC. We were never consulted. Our national people weren't consulted. Our attorney wasn't consulted. We were never told that we were going to miscount our votes tonight.
The gentleman will suspend. Is the gentleman requesting a poll of the delegation of Alaska?
Yes, I'm requesting a poll of the delegation of Alaska and that those votes be accurately recorded in this convention.
A delegate has taken exception to the correctness of the vote for the delegation from Alaska. Accordingly, the convention staff will report to the delegation to supervise the poll.